From the first iPhone model to the newest kid on the block, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, Apple has consistently released and raised the bar for mobile phones. And to think that the latest iPhone was released less than 6 months ago, the next model is already picking up steam, with different rumors about its looks and features. But we understand the hype since the new iPhone is always the most anticipated phone of the year. In this video, we would be taking a look at everything that we know so far about the iPhone 14. After the iPhone was launched, we saw some of the biggest upgrades the phone had since the iPhone X, and now it's time for the iPhone 14 to wow us. So without further ado, let's jump right in. No notch. The biggest change that we expect with the 2022 iPhone is the removal of the notch cutout. The notch design was first introduced with the iPhone X and it has stayed the same ever since, but rumors have it that this new iPhone will have no notch. According to Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, we have gotten reliable information that Apple will drop the notch in 2022, and the design change has been described as a punch hole design. Meanwhile, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman has reported that the iPhone 14 is set to feature a complete redesign. Apple's goal is to bring the hole punch design only to the high-end iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max. And this design will only come to fruition if Apple's prototyping and production go according to plan. The punch hole design may sound familiar because it's being used on many high-end Android phones. On the iPhone 14 Pro, the punch hole would house the camera that is currently located in the notch. However, it remains unclear what the fate of Face ID will be. It is possible that Apple abandons Face ID in favor of under-display Touch ID. Analyst Ross Young offered a little more detail on the design of the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max. He stated that Apple is actually planning to use a hole plus pill design on the two models, and the combination of the hole punch and pill-shaped cutout will give Apple more room to fit all the components outside of the notch. But what do you think? Should Apple stick to the notch, or are you a fan of the hole punch idea? Touch ID. If you were expecting Apple's Touch ID in the 2022 model with under-finger display sensor, then we're afraid to say that might not be the case. This is because optical under-display scanners are not fully secure and the supersonic ones are a bit slow. However, reports from Ming-Chi Kuo suggest that Apple has been forced to delay under-display Touch ID to 2023. Kuo added that Apple has faced lower-than-expected development progress on its works to integrate Touch ID into the iPhone's display. There is also a possibility that Apple takes a less ambitious approach and integrates Touch ID into the iPhone's power button, which is similar to the iPad Air and iPad mini. No camera bump. The front camera is not the only feature getting redesigned, the back is as well, and it seems to be getting its inspiration from iPhone 4, although the latest Samsung S22 is also featuring the lens implanted directly into the frame. While it's hard to believe that Apple will make the phone thicker just to get rid of the camera bump, it seems like that's the plan. YouTuber and leaker John Prosser, who claims to have seen real-life images of the iPhone 14, confirmed that Apple will be able to forego the camera bump of the iPhone 14 by making it thicker. But what is most likely to happen is that Apple will add lenses directly to slightly reduce the bump of the camera. Personally, a no-bump camera is a great design. Camera improvement. Aside from the smooth camera back design, the iPhone 14 is said to include dramatic improvements to the front-facing camera. Its biggest change will be the upgrades to the front camera's autofocus features. In terms of the rear camera, it is likely that the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max will be upgraded to 48 megapixels, which is a sizable increase from the iPhone 12's 12 megapixel. Apple has also noted a possibility that the iPhone 14 could get a periscope lens that allows for greater optical zoom, but it is not clear if it will be slated for 2022 or 2023. It is also likely that the video camera system will be upgraded to support 8K recording. If it happens, this would be the first time. Lineup and screen sizes. It is no secret that Apple's iPhone names have not been the easiest to understand, and if you don't use an iPhone, you'd be completely lost. This year, it seems like Apple has decided to make it even more confusing. The iPhone 14 is rumored to have a new size option, which is the iPhone 14 Max. Apparently, it will be the same as the Pro Max, but without any of the Pro capabilities, so it is perfect for those who don't want the Pro Max but want the same size. Apple's 2022 lineup consists of the iPhone 14, the iPhone 14 Max, the iPhone 14 Pro, and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. According to Mark Gurman, the four iPhones will come in two different screen sizes. The iPhone 14 and 14 Pro will be 6.1 inches, while the Max and Pro Max will be 6.7 inches. We also need to mention that the iPhone 14 will not have a mini, and this is because the report indicates that the device did not sell nearly as well as Apple expected. Chip and speed. The iPhone 14 is set to come with the A16 Bionic. Rumors have, however, anticipated that there may be another chipset. The A16 Bionic is based on a 4nm chip manufacturing process, and it seems like the likely choice because that is what every manufacturer has been trying to do. But the most likely option is the A16 Bionic based on a 5nm chip that has been used by Apple 3 times in a row. According to TSMC, the 5nm chip comes with some performance improvement, but sadly, these improvements may not translate much for the iPhone, since it's already in use by Apple themselves. But since nothing is certain yet, we would just have to wait and see. Battery. Not so much is known about the battery, but there are claims that the capacity could increase. But according to a TSMC report, the new chip is supposedly 10% more powerful than the previous iPhone 13. Fortunately, Apple holds records for surpassing other phones' battery life, and a 10% increase is just plain awesome. Finally, there's no news on when the iPhone 14 will be released yet, but we can take a good guess and say September, because that is when Apple tends to announce new models each year. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and press the notification bell so you never miss an upload.